welcome to the special NUFC360 podcast, which is all about our now trip to Wembley. I'm sure there'll be quite a few Brighton fans now happy that they don't have to travel up for an early kickoff against us on the 25th of February. So we've helped them with that. We're now going to Wembley. Yeah. Sorry, Brighton, but we've got a better invitation and we've decided to take.
I feel sorry for the Southampton fans that have had to travel all the way back on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, tough one for them.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but remember, I feel exactly the same as yourself. The last final night. I wasn't there, but I remember it. I remember watching it. I know there's probably people that I know. Well, this is the one thing. I believe is it Anthony Gordon wasn't born.
Yeah,
when we were last in the final, final. I know. It's like how old I'm going. I remember watching it.
I've got that from 1989. It's got a funny colour. I've had it that long. Like, oh man, it's crazy.
First thing that I think we need to start off and talk about is probably before even the game kicked off. What did you think of DJ Shaq?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in the stadium for it, I'll be honest, but I've watched it since. I'm a big fan of him. I think, like Keith Downey said, he's very synonymous with the uprise of Newcastle and how we're becoming such a consistent team, top 4 team. And I just thought he added that bit of extra atmosphere before what was already, a big, huge occasion, but he really done a good job of getting the crowd sort of going. So I'm hoping as well. I watched an interview with him on the BBC, and I think he's going to be performing at Trafalgar Square on the Saturday. Although that's not confirmed, but
no, he hasn't said the venue.
Not officially.
I think we all know the venue that is most likely to be there. I do know one person which was really loving the set, and that was Eugene.
Yeah, I got a little bit excited. I felt at one point, I think somebody up in the box somewhere turned the volume down slightly because it was a little bit loud, but like it was brilliant. Like a 10-minute set, it just got everybody going. It was just phenomenal. It was just I just expected the lights to start flickering and a bit like what happens at Molineux. You know what I mean?
We don't.
I just expected a bit more. I know we don't, but like you know what I mean. Like you just felt like you were on like a biffa, like in your coat. It was a bit wild, but yeah, absolutely loved it. My dad wasn't too fussed, but I certainly was. I loved it.
Well, I was asking for the Ibiza tunes because I thought it might have like made like your mind think that it was warmer than it was.
Subliminal messaging.
Yeah, but even after that, because like I said, I think he did a really good job in it. Yeah, the fans loved it. But even after that, obviously the normal DJ. Thankfully, we didn't have the one that we had against Fulham.
Awful, isn't it?
Exactly. But this one, and he brought out the tunes. Yeah, rocking all over the world. Our house. Yeah, Nick Pope, and then obviously we had Pretty Green Eyes and that. So he knew to get the tunes out there. But he also let the fans do. So obviously we had the Tell Me More that was able to get round and that.
Yeah, that was pretty special.
Yeah, and then who's that team you call United? And then obviously, and I'm going to say, I actually think, and I'll show you we'll do the video now, but I think this was probably the loudest I've heard it probably this season. There we go. Sorry if I have blasted everyone in the on that one, but
beautiful.
But it was, and I don't know whether or not it's been because we hadn't really been there, because we didn't have the game at the weekend and stuff like that, so it felt a while. But I just felt like the noise, it just bumped up that extra step there.
I mean, I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot it was a cup game to an extent of like, because normally for me, I think cup game atmospheres, in Premier League atmospheres, it's like chalk and cheese. Like it really is a big difference. But that was just as big and even expanded on a Premier League atmosphere. I thought it was just fantastic.
I think the difference is that we're not used to getting to a semi-final. We're not used to getting to the quarter-final. It's been that long since we've really made an effort in it. So what happens is that you don't get as many people, the regulars, the season ticketers going. So you get the families, the kids and stuff like that in the earlier rounds. So it's their opportunity to go see the club. And as a result, they don't know the songs. They don't know, you feel a little bit embarrassed almost those first few games that you go to. But actually, you start to get into it. But I think because of the enormity of it, I think the regulars, the ones that have maybe cancelled their season tickets, the ones that know the songs, have all turned up and they've all come. And I think I completely agree with you, Joel. Like the atmosphere was completely different. Premier League, people know the songs, but you get the usual season ticket holders who, when they sing "Stand Up If You Love Newcastle," they don't stand up. But there was just something about this game where every person was wearing a black and white top or had a black and white scarf, got up, stood, and they sung, and you could cut the atmosphere with a knife. It was it was electric. I've never, in my entire life, I'm nearly 40 now. I've seen quite a lot. I've never heard it like that.
It was a different feel to it completely, wasn't it? Something I hadn't experienced prior.
I think that's probably as close as you would get to an atmosphere to the Shearer testimonial, because the Shearer testimonial was a special atmosphere, and I think that was on par, if not maybe better a little bit. I just think the scarves as well. There was one point through the game where we just got the scarves out again, and it's just like, this is what makes this place special. There is nowhere else in this country that would be able to have this, and that's for me the point, and that's why you've got players like Anthony Gordon, who's decided to come up here. Harrison Ashby. Harrison Ashby's, he's probably looked and thought, well, look, Eddie Howe's makes players better. That's a fact now. You can't really argue with that. And obviously, he's going to be learning his trade under Kieran Trippier. One of the best right backs for me. In Europe or the world. So so you look at that. And
I think what magnifies it is you listen to the guy on the tannoy before, and he went, "This has been beamed out across the rest of the world. Make that that noise and stuff." And he's really right now. There's a magnifying glass on Newcastle United, from a football point of view and a geopolitical sort of point of view, that everybody wants to see what's going on, whether it's success or not. Everyone kind of wants to have their opinion, and because there's that magnifying glass on it, like it just that everyone wants a piece of it. You know what I mean? Like Harris Ashby, he's come up, and yes, you're probably right, and he's probably experienced that, last night, and just thought, oh my days, what have I walked into? You hear about it, you've heard about it for 30, 40 years about the atmosphere and stuff, but it's just hit a new level. It's really exciting and scary at the same time, because I think we've been down the dumps for so long that actually to go on such a meteoric rise in such a short space of time, just kind of like, you have the doubt. It goes back to what we were saying before about, like, we thought we didn't realize there was another leg had been played and we were 1-0 up. We were playing it as 2-1 because I think we're so used to, being on the back foot. Oh, here we go, typical Newcastle conceding. It's just not like that anymore. There's something different happening. It's amazing.
I mean, just on that, like the fact that we did actually, it was a great goal, Shea Adams. It was a great finish. But when was the last time we conceded a goal at St James's Park? Because
I don't know.
It was a while. It was.
The last time we conceded one was in the league. It was Southampton away, wasn't it? When we were 3-0 up, they scored, and then we went up to 4-1, didn't we? And Bruno scored.
The last goal we scored, we conceded, was the penalty by Ivan Toney against Brentford. The last goal we conceded in open play was Bournemouth.
I mean, it's just mad. Like, You're just not used to seeing it. We concede a goal and hearing, the away fans cheer. It was just like, whoa.
I know, unfortunately, that the goal came from a mistake, but
It did.
These things.
It was a great finish. I can't lie.
But he took a touch and he hit it. You know what I mean? There was no. If he's got a bit of space, that's what teams have to do against us because we're on them so quick and they're so well organised and so well drilled that he took a touch, hit it in. He got a little bit, he got quite a lot of the luck with it as well. But
I think we just felt sorry for them. Go on, we'll give you one.
We'll let them get excited for a bit.
Your fans have travelled all this way. We'll let you just have that one. A little bit of.
No, that's typical Newcastle. Now,
obviously, you did mention that everyone wants to watch us. You're right, including Hollywood stars. Yeah, Idris Elba wanted to come and watch us. Yeah,
I was interested. I'd love to know that link, unless he was just like, I want to see, best.
Of course, he wants to see Newcastle.
Because he was sitting next to the Murdad, wasn't he? Was he next to them?
Yeah,
he was next to Murdad and Amanda. I think even Jamie Rubin was up for this one, which I don't think he was going to ever miss. He was like, no, I'm there. I've got a feeling his excellency will be over for the.
Yeah, they'll have a
Mr. Ramayan will be over for the cup final. I'm positive of that.
Yeah.
But no, it is just that you look at that since you've had people like we've had Gareth Southgate at quite a few of the games, which never used to happen. Idris Elba's been there. We've even had royalty there. I think it was Princess Beatrice was there in the very first game against Tottenham. You're looking at that. But the one thing which I'm going to say I love the most, despite the fact that people say, oh, we've spent players, we've bought money, two local lads have played a big part in us getting to the final, and that's Big Dan Burn, and probably the player that surprised maybe quite a few players last night, and that was Sean Longstaff. And I'm going to say he finished both of those goals extremely well.
He should have had 4.
He could have quite easily.
Yeah.
And they weren't half chances. They were really good chances as well. Like the keeper had made an unbelievable save, and I was right in front of we were 1-0 up, and it skimmed the post. I was like, oh, the move was just slick. But then they did this near enough, exactly the same thing again, and he scored. And it was just
I think the second one pips it for because when you watch it back. And you look at that play, Joe Linton, Joe Willock.
And Willock on the wing.
Miggy, and then to Longstaff. And it's just like, what a play. And I think even Ali McCoy picked it out and he went, that goal is just unbelievable. And he was, because I think he was talking this morning, he was like, just some of the play down that left side in the opening 20 minutes and that was just unbelievable and unreal. Yeah, and he says, he's probably said Joe Linton's probably had the biggest transformation of a player he's ever seen. Yeah.
I don't think many people would disagree. You'd struggle to find a harder transformation. You really would.
On the plus side,
I
was going to say also on the plus side for those that weren't at the ground, at least they had Ali McCoy on commentary.
Oh, he's a great.
I know. He really is. Can you believe he's an ex-Sunderland player? Like,
forget about that.
I know, but I don't. I think he forgets about that. Yeah, He's one of those ones. I'm sure he'll be at Trafalgar Square with Shaq. To be fair, he'll want to be right there.
Well, he's already doing the birthday party.
Well, I also know that Matt Letizia was in Wonderbar and he was getting abused from the fans, so left.
Oh, really? Is he there?
Yeah.
I still remember what he did. Did absolutely destroyed us because they're all ground the Dell. I don't think in any time in my life we ever beat them. It was one of those like. I don't know if you remember when we had a bit of a bogey run in London where we couldn't win in London for like however many years, and then we beat Arsenal in that crazy game. But it was like that with the Dell. Just it was such a weird design stadium. Just couldn't win there. And Letizia just every time we played him always, and he scored some unbelievable goals. And I think if he had have moved, but it's a bit like the Shearer story with Newcastle. If Letizia had have moved. He could have achieved so much more. He really could because he was far bigger than that club. And I know they say no player's bigger than a club. But from a talent point of view, he could have done so much more.
Now, just obviously going into the game, and you'll look at it. I think a lot of people probably agree it was a game of two halves. We probably had the majority of the game in the first half. That first 20 minutes, though, that is probably some of the best football that you've probably seen played in that. It was just constant. It was pushing forward. It was great play. It was all the movement, all the passes, and that. And realistically, we probably could. Yeah, it's right. We probably could have been quite a few goals more up there, but yeah.
I mean, the difference was this game. We scored that first half goal that we've been missing the past. I think it was 4 games. There was just chances on chances, and you lose that sense of control when you're going in at the second half, still 0-0. And what we've done so well at the start of the season, to a bit after when Almiron was flying his purple patch, we were scoring a lot of first half goals, and that really helps get control over the game, and we can put games to bed earlier. And I think that's what Eddie's clearly reinforced to the players, and it's what we achieved against Southampton.
Yeah. Question.
I just going forward, I mean, like attacking wise, Wilson was better again, but he's holding play since he come back from the World Cup.
Yeah, I labelled him as lethargic in my piece, and I think that's what it's like. Is it long COVID? People are saying. I'm not sure. I don't know, but he's certainly not being.
Something's not right.
Yeah,
he ain't say it in the way he plays. He's not running in the channels anymore. I don't see any of that.
Yeah, and he used to do that a lot.
It's just stopped, and I think what kind of put a magnifying glass on that was when Isak did that for Joe Linton to score in the previous game, and there's just something not right. Something needs to click, and it's going to get to a point where Eddie's going to drop him.
Yeah,
I can see that happening.
A shame.
The one thing isn't, and if we're looking at it, if Isak is out, because obviously he did go off towards the end with possible concussion. It might just be that he felt cocky. It might, could have been the fumes of the fact that we're going to a final that just got to him. Yeah.
Well, they were telling him to stay down, weren't they? There was. This dark arts thing that we keep hearing about Newcastle, and you can say it. Eddie Howe can deny all he wants. There's definitely a change. It's the Diego Simeone effect, I think.
He
did deny copying Diego Simeone.
He acknowledged he's been in his training sessions a couple of times.
Yeah. I think it's conversations that have been had. Doing those kind of things because, like, for example, towards the end of the game. Was it I was trying to think. Yes, it was towards the end of the game. Ball goes out, and I'm literally watching Nick Pope. The ball goes over the electric board. He gets given the ball. He's leaning over, and he drops the ball. Someone picks it up, gives him it again, and he drops it again. And then they throw it up and give him it. And I just thought, like the stuff with Lascelles on the sideline. Telling like I say, Isak to
he couldn't
down.
do that this time though, unfortunately.
And then bringing Murphy back off after bringing him on.
Murphy loved it.
Like,
well. His
Murphy
smile though,
the biggest smug look on his face, like that. He can't play poker. He'd be terrible at poker because you knew exactly what was going on there.
But was it not?
Was
it not also a fact that he was smiling because he's going, "I'm going off," and the likelihood is we're going to Wembley. Yeah,
it would have all been amalgamated together.
A bit in that. There's another thing which I absolutely loved as well, is there was a Southampton player who ran to try and get the ball to give it to Nick Pope, and Nick Pope just sort of like chopped it again.
It was the same kid that got tackled by Bruno. Yeah, the one.
And he was sort of like having a go, and I was just my usual self telling him to go forth.
But Pope was even telling fans in the ground when the ball was going into the crowd, he was telling them to slow down. He was like communicating with the fans, and there was even a guy in the East Stand dressed had a jester hat on.
Oh, I saw that.
He got the ball, and then held onto it, and then threw it in, and got told off, and then did it again, and then took them down the tunnel, had a good scene to, and then went, right, okay, don't do it again. So because we're seeing the players do it, the fans are getting involved, and it's just almost poetic. It's brilliant, and yeah.
Saying that though, the one thing which I did question is, where did the referee get 7 minutes from? Because I seriously can't think.
I called
7 minutes stoppage time.
I called that and I timed it and everything. And I was just like, yeah, that's definitely it's about. I said 7 or 8 minutes it would be, and I think it was the VAR decision that took ages. You know, in the first half there wasn't too much anyway. That was 3 minutes. This, you know, in a cup final, it's a cup semi-final. Things are pretty tough. 3-4 minutes they're probably going to give. But the VAR thing, and then obviously with Isak going down, I stopped
extended
my
the stoppage time.
Yeah, and then literally when I got home and I saw it, I was like, "Is that 110 minutes?" And I thought I couldn't believe it went on for that long. But obviously it did. It was an extra 3 minutes on top of the allotted 7 as well. But say for about 2 of those minutes, Isak was down.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you mentioned the VAR decision. What was your view on that?
Is that at the time?
At the time?
Yeah, so we'll do at the time.
Right. Well,
because I'll start with mine. At the time, I looked at that and thought, that's not even a yellow. For me, just from...
I saw your reaction, Mark.
Yeah. Well, no, because to be fair, from distance there, it didn't actually look as if there was that much contact. Obviously, bearing in mind the referee's closer and the camera screen can get a lot closer. But at that point, and I think what annoyed me was that was the first yellow card of the game, and I'm going, I'm sorry, but there's been tackles that have went on again. And in the first half, we got a free kick because Miggy was kicked in the head. And I'm going, how that's not a red for dangerous play.
Sadio Mane have that a couple of seasons ago against I think it was against Edison at Man City, whoever it was.
Yeah.
You know,
but this is what my problem is. Obviously, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go with what your thoughts were at the time, and then we'll go to what views were after watching the replay. So at first glance, so you're watching it real time. What was your thought, Joe?
My opinion's done the full cycle because I'll be completely honest. At first, I went, "That's a good challenge." Wait, that's a foul. Yellow and a yellow card. Then I was like, a red. So like, I obviously didn't have a good look at it, but at the time, I genuinely just thought that was a tough tackle. But when he was carded, I was surprised. Even just a yellow.
We'll leave what you think now to after that. So, Jay, what was your thought initially?
I thought it was an absolute disgrace. That was a free kick in the first place. I mean, the ball moved away in the direction that Bruno was going, and I was looking directly at it, and it just didn't look as if it looked like it was a bit of a coming together more than anything else.
Yeah.
So for me, I was angry that it was a free kick, and I just felt that that's Southampton's only weapon. James.
Yeah.
VAR's getting involved and turning G off there. But no, I agree with that point of view. I was of the same opinion. I didn't think it was a free kick as well.
No. I mean, there was like sort of like not like it was an upturn of rule in the Gallagher end when it got blue for a foul, let alone a yellow red card. It was like what sort of thing? Because like you said, the ball moved away. It looked like a tough challenge, but he'd won the ball. So when it was blue for a foul, it was like
Oh, he's back. He's back. VAR's unpaused it now that he's. What I'm gonna do is take obviously the point from that. Now, this you'll probably disagree with my viewpoint on this, but looking at the replay, I think the referee needs to look into two things: of was it intentional, and was it because they're looking at it at slowed down speed, and that's sometimes where I think is the error. You should be looking at it, look at it in slow down, but then look at it at the proper time. Now, if you look at it it's actually the Southampton player's foot that slips towards Bruno, which means when Bruno, who hasn't moved his feet, when his studs land, it lands higher up than where it was going to be. Now, for me, if I'm looking at that, he was given a yellow card, and I still look at that and go, realistically, was that a clear and obvious error to the point in that you needed to get him over to change that to a red? I'm not sure on that one. I think it was harsh still on that part. From that part, and again, and we're going to go back to the fact that there's no consistency. Fabinho, similar one against Brighton.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not even a VAR review. So you're sort of thinking, well, hang on, if that's the same.
So was there not even a yellow card given for that?
No. I think he got a yellow card, but
nothing was looked at all.
But nothing was looked at in terms of sending the referee to the monitor to see if he would.
No, I listened to Talk Sport today. In their view, it was worse than Bruno's. It was worse.
I think it was. I do actually think
it was an ankle snapper.
Because Fabinho was more from the back, wasn't it? To that one. It's frustrating. Yeah,
it comes back to the argument of VAR inconsistency, and that has been the talk all season. There is no consistency, and that is the problem.
The question also is, because I know there's talks about potentially, the explanation of the red card is going to be beamed out in the stadium so you can hear that. Yeah, would that have changed your mind, or would you still be like, "No, you're still a beep ref"? We'll go with your viewpoint, Joel. Yeah, after seeing the replay of it, what's your thoughts now?
Well, I mean, holistically looking at the challenge, like not at the time, not with after the camera, the challenge itself, in my opinion, was a red card. It looked pretty brutal on the replays, which obviously can magnify and can sort of exaggerate it when you're watching it at a slow motion. But I've got to accept that I think it was a red card. But I also do agree with you when you've said, was that an obvious error, or has the ref made that decision based off what he's seen? That coming together. So it's like I said, it comes back to VAR not being the problem, just the consistency of it. But answering, your original question, I do think it was a red card, yeah.
And Jay?
So I do think it was a red. But again, in terms of the consistency, Talksport brought something else up this morning, and it kind of hit something with us. And it's when we see these incidents, when we see that Fabinho's done this and nothing's happened and there's uproar and it's in the papers, it's on Twitter and everything. There's increased focus on that happening and what do they do about it. And lo and behold, within a matter of days, it happens again. And I almost feel like they've made the decision based possibly on what's happened at the weekend as opposed to actually what's happening in our game.
Now, the next time something like that happens,
every time they were saying that every time something happens that is gone wrong by referees, they almost have to try and prove themselves by making a mountain of a molehill. But
it's a narrative.
The biggest problem I've got, right, and it's not to do with the technology, and it's not to do with the referees themselves. It's to do with why VAR is there, but also to do with why, because the reason we think VAR's there is not the reason why the officials tell us it's there. They say it's there to assist the referee, but not to re-referee. And if the referee thinks that's a yellow card, and we've seen it many, many times where they've gone, that's a yellow card. If he gives a red, you wouldn't argue with it. If he gives a penalty, would you argue against it? No. You know what I mean? And it becomes subjective. But I just think it comes down to this clear and obvious error. What's clear and obvious? Like, what's re-refereeing, man? like at the end of the day, if the referee's made a mistake and that's a red card, it's a red card. Tell him you've made a mistake, mate.
Mhm.
Don't say, "Oh, can you go have a look at this, please?" Because I think you might have missed something. You know, it's almost like they're just tiptoeing through it, and it's just like.
I think the reason why
so much at stake.
Well, that's it. I think the reason why they ask the referee to go over is because they want to keep it as the referee on the pitch has the final say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
but if
the
they're
viewpoint.
Wrong, they're wrong. Like, what's wrong?
No, I know, but that's
wrong.
But if Darren,
say,
I know, but if Darren in England goes, I think this is that, and then Portini goes with that, and then he looks back at that after the game and goes, well, actually, I probably wouldn't have given a red. Do you know what I mean? So that's why they go over to the monitor. But all this talk, with Howard Webb, the new chief who's took over from the incompetent one, Mike Riley, was that there's a high bar for interventions. And you're sort of thinking, was that over that high bar threshold? I generally don't think.
Threshold, like it needs to be more.
That's why I actually think there needs to be
more transparency. That's the answer. If there was
I think there should be a VAR referee and an assistant VAR, but that's an ex-player. Because I think the ex-player will know. So that ex-player could look at that challenge and go, well, if you look at that, he hasn't meant it in that. Yeah. So and that could help them because then they could go, well, actually, because they're looking at it just a challenge. Whereas if they look at it from the viewpoint of players and the angles and the fact like that, things might have been different. Now, if we're going to go to the point of VAR, I actually think we should have had a penalty in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've watched the highlight when the Southampton players.
There'd be problems surrounding bias. That obviously, if players were come in, but
I was just gonna point on that, right? So, think it from this point of view: they bring in ex-players. As you rightly say, Joel, they've got that bias. Let's look at watching Sky Sports, right? How many times do we get really wound up by Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher saying X, Y, and Z? It will be exactly the same in there.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%.
Exactly the same. And no matter how much validity or how much actually truth is with what they're saying, it's because he's a Liverpool. Oh, it's because of this. I mean, you've heard it with one of the referees. Which referee is it that lived with supports? Is it? It's not Riley. He lived in Tranmere. But I think he was a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, Mike Dean.
Liverpool. Mike Dean. Yeah, the Magic Mike Dean. The Mike Dean show. Like it was. Yeah, because he was from Tranmere.
I quite liked him. Tranmere,
he supported them. I mean, how Webb for me was spot on. Like brilliant. But
I liked Mike Dean. I just maybe not all the games he referee does, but I actually quite liked Mike Dean.
He became this is big of a personality. In the end,
himself. But that's the thing. But you do get those sort of things. But is it the same with the referee and the bias? You're going to get the same effect. But that's why you would do the similar sort of thing. Like Gary Neville would never be able to referee, be like the assistant VAR for any games involving Man City, Man U, Liverpool, Jelly, those sort of games
for anybody because he's biased. Sometimes Carragher's worse. You know what I mean? Like,
I actually don't think Gary Neville's is bad nowadays. I genuinely don't. Well, I've Shea given on for us.
I'll have to. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that.
or David. Well, I'll tell you what. I prefer Shea given more to Kieran Dyer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's not use his name.
Oh, actually, speaking of expert, what are you? I'm interested to know your opinions on Enrique's changing of supporting teams between Liverpool and Newcastle based on success. Because obviously he played for us for a while. He played for Liverpool, but he's been exposed online of celebrating Liverpool wins against us, but then celebrating our wins, and it's like, come on, mate, like sorted out sort of thing. You can't just be a glory hunter.
I mean,
but can he?
For me, his reputation was tarnished, right?
Yeah,
because when he said he wanted to go to a top 6 team, He came to St James's Park, and we sang to him. We were in the top 6, and he ended up in net because Reina got sent off. That was the moment his reputation. Now, I've messaged him before. I've communicated with him. He's sound. He's a nice person. He went through a really tough time. Fans, love him for. He went down with us. He was the ball. He did some amazing stuff with us. But
I'm sure he scored the goal against Nottingham Forest that practically secured us going up.
Quite possibly. He wasn't known for that sort of thing. He was just an unbelievable left back, and he was young. But
to be fair to him, though, it wasn't a Mike Astley. Did anyone really think we were going to be anywhere near the top 6?
Well, Cher thought he was going to leave. Fabian Cher said recently that he thought his time was coming to an end. And then this has happened, and he now absolutely loves it because actually there's something worth playing for, rather than just a pay slip. That's why they're changing the training ground. They don't want the training ground to be somewhere that they go to train. It's somewhere that they go to socialise, to get away from sometimes the goldfish bowl that is
well, especially now they've had the refurbishment with
it looks tight.
Their swanky new canteen.
I
was asking when can I put a booking in for that? Because it looks really, really good. I was like, that's better than some of the pubs out around here. Yeah, come on. Is there a waiting list for the bookings?
I know. Yeah, that's not part of the tour.
The one thing which I will say with Enrique, and I'm going to defend him a little bit, I think he probably does have an affinity to Liverpool because of the fact that I think he probably had a little bit more success there. But he can still celebrate and have celebrate it. Warren Barton does it with Derby and Newcastle. So you'll congratulate Derby and you'll congratulate Newcastle. Warren Barton hasn't been getting the same stick as Enrique. Yeah, if he wants to congratulate both clubs for doing well, fair dues.
But there's a little bit different. I mean, for me, Enrique, Warren Barton, when he went there, he went there towards the end of his career, give him his dues. But Enrique, it was the statement he said when he left. He wanted to go to them to get in the top, to be a top 6 team. And ironically, that season,
right, but he had ambition, and at that time, the ownership didn't. Well, even past that time, the ownership didn't have ambition.
Yeah.
So from what Enrique was looking at, he would have looked at an ownership model that, when he, at the face of it, wasn't ambitious. And at that point,
as a fan, you don't see that.
No, I understand that, and that's why. But that's why I am at a point where I can see the viewpoint of Enrique to why. I went in that. I understand why Shea Given went, because when he went, I think Joe Kinnear was the manager, and quite frankly, it was a poop show.
So Shea Given's a slightly different one for me, because I've got a couple of bit of bad taste in my mouth with him, because during a period of time, Harper would be brought in. Harper, you know what he was like? Like, he would sit there till the end of time if it meant he was on the bench and supporting us and being there when we need. He sacrificed pretty much his entire football career to be as a backup just in case for Newcastle United. And for that, he'll always go down as a legend. Shea Given, the moment he was dropped, he whinged and he moaned, and it was constant. When he got dropped for the '99 FA Cup final, he just went off on one completely. Bobby came in, brought Shea back in. What did Harper do? Just carried on as normal, as he did. There maybe was some stuff at the back, but we didn't hear it, and then literally to leave us mid-season, just so he didn't have that relegation on his record. Yeah, just it doesn't sit right away, and it won't take away of the appearances and the saves that he made, and he's my favourite goalkeeper of all time. I love Shea Given.
We've had good goalkeepers, I think, as a club. Really, I love Tim Krul. Like in the season, obviously 11-12, sorry, where Tim Krul was pulling off saves all over.
Yeah.
I just think, even when Dubravka first came in, his debut against Man United, I mean, how good was that? And then Nick Pope's just Unreal.
Yeah, I mean, throughout, like, I hear all these stories about all these clubs, like Arsenal over the years, and Man U with Taibbi and Bartes, all the issues, and Bosnich, issues with goalkeepers. But for some reason, Newcastle have this knack of getting really good goals. Even, I don't remember, Mike Hooper came in from Liverpool, right? Was a laughing stock, literally. Oh, I got Hooper, dodgy Hooper. Cernicek gets sent off against Spurs. He comes on and saves a Klinsmann penalty. Like, there was just something about Newcastle goalkeepers
I
throughout the
agree.
years. It's just been
We've got lucky
tremendous.
on that.
It's been really lucky, yeah. Like really, really lucky. There's been some strange names come there, like John Corelsi and stuff. But yeah, mad.
Matt Sells.
Strange. That's the one area.
Oh,
Yeah, we've always had problems with defence, but goalies, we've always actually had good goalkeepers. It's
yeah,
none more so than our current.
yeah,
man in the middle of the goal.
Exactly.
And obviously, Cardala on the bench, loaned to Nottingham Forest, but we're like,
Yeah, that was so.
No, so he went the whole apology.
Yeah, we were stood in the ground and we just went, "That's Darlow, isn't he going to Hull?"
Yeah,
like it was so surreal. It was almost like as if Shelby was like on the bench, for the game.
Yeah,
like it was so weird, and then literally when I got out of the stadium, had a few beers, got a kebab, and I'm literally on the way home in the taxi, and I'm like, "He's gone to Hull." Like,
to be honest, I think the deal and everything was agreed.
Just
but it was just a case of
finalized.
We need him. Basically, Dubravka.
Where was Dubravka?
Dubravka he'd played a Carabao Cup game for Manchester United, which is why he was cup tied, so couldn't be on the bench.
Well, even Gillespie wasn't on the bench, but Gillespie was still, I suppose, if he's cup tied, he can't offer anything really, can you?
Well, Gillespie just sits, goes to train and gets paid and doesn't out.
Well, he's a Steve Harper, ain't he? You know what I mean? He's here because.
Well, no, because Steve Harper was always second choice. He's more the third choice, whoever. Yeah, Freddie Woodman.
Yeah, Freddie Woodman was always.
Actually, no, Gillespie's fourth choice.
Is he? Oh yeah, Karius,
yeah.
Karius. But then you
was Karius?
Exactly. You question that, and you're going, well, look, you've extended Karius's contract, but yet you don't trust him to sit on the bench in the cup, the cup semi-finals. So how much do you trust him in that sense?
Karius reminds me of Lionel Perez. Remember Lionel Perez signing from Sunderland on a free?
I only saw him in that friendly against Saudi Arabia, but he did look good and
I think Karius was a good keeper. Real Madrid. Everyone is synonymous with the Real Madrid performance when he was, these mistakes. But I actually
when he was concussed.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know the one? Yeah. Do you know the one problem for me is Martin Dubravka is not the goalkeeper that will play the way that we want to play, and that was plainly clear in the FA Cup game against Sheffield Wednesday. He didn't come out. He didn't command his box. He was hesitant. And I actually think at least one of their goals, Nick Pope would have saved, if not both of them. I actually thought he was poor. And that's where the problem is. And I think the problem is if you put Nick Pope in that, I think even if the front had stayed the same, so the other 10 players had stayed the same, I think if Nick Pope had started that game, we would have had a game last Saturday.
Maybe.
Yeah. And it's just that way.
But would that then have impacted the game against Southampton? The choice of players that we played, the injuries. It's caused effect, absolutely. So
maybe you do look at that. Yeah, it could be one of the other.
It may well be a blessing in disguise getting knocked out of that and focusing on the Carabao and the league. So.
Yeah, we just want to win a trophy.
He has a question. Well, he has a question for you. Would you rather win the Carabao Cup and finish 5th, or lose the Carabao Cup and finish in the top 4?
Win a trophy all day.
Yeah, easy one for me as well. No.
I've never seen us in the League Cup at this level. It was in the mid-70s. Like, my dad has never seen us win a domestic trophy. My dad,
Mhm.
like, he was born 2 years after the last one. Like, I was there with my dad, and I'm sure you saw me post, Mark. I was there with my dad, and that was such a special moment for me to be there with my dad at a semi-final. And I will go at the end of the earth to be at a final with my dad, because I've seen how rare it is.
Mhm.
It really is, and it's the best chance we've ever had. But like, in terms of league position, we finished second, we finished third, we finished fourth, we finished fifth. Right? We've had Champions League, right? What has that got with? The same name of, oh, you can't win a trophy, you haven't won a trophy for X amount of years. We've still had that monkey on our back, and we need to shift it.
Yeah.
And it all starts with winning a trophy.
Absolutely, I agree. I mean, I know, but you can argue from the like a club's perspective that the Champions League would benefit more in terms of revenue, advertising, and stuff like that. But this trophy situation is 100% priority.
Yeah, in
But we're not
terms
on the
of
Mike Ashley anymore. We're not
in terms of sentiments and the fans' feelings, the cup would be the choice. From a purely financial aspect of it and an FFP point of it, you're better off finishing in the top four, because then the value of your sponsorship deals will probably go, increase by tenfold in that sense. And then, you can do what Chelsea did and spend 300 million pounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But, and this is my viewpoint on this, would you not rather? Because I think we're well ahead of where I think even the ownership thought we were going to be in terms of the plan. Would you not rather say, well, look, let's maybe go Europa League and that, and then strengthen again?
Let's have some fun.
No, but it's like, let's try. Because I think if we go into the Champions League now, it's like, it's going to be too soon.
The pressure.
Yeah, we won't have a squad that's capable of doing.
Improve a squad depth.
Exactly, and then you're in the position where you're like, well, it's not going to be a fun trip to Europe. On the plus side, I have renewed my passport. So
you what? Sorry,
I've just renewed my passport. Yeah, that wasn't based on. Yeah, but
it wasn't based. It was entirely based.
It was 100%
related. Maybe, yeah. But no, it was that. It is. But here's the question, and this is the big one: if we do win it, where does the statue of Eddie Howe go?
Well, it's got to go somewhere.
Depends on what they do with the stadium.
Oh yeah, stadium expansion. Haven't spoken.
We could put it the other side. We could put it the other side of Bobby, so you'd have Eddie Howe, Bobby, and Shearer.
Then we need a fourth.
I think you'd have to. I think. Let's look at it from another point of view. Joe Harvey won unbelievable amount of trophies with us. Legend, player, manager. He's got a plaque on a wall about outside the club shop. Like, before we build Bobby Robson was for different reasons, but Joe Harvey was missed at Newcastle, and I think before anything's even considered about Eddie Howe, I think that needs to change.
But Eddie Howe would be winning a cup with a squad that includes Ryan Fraser, Jacob Murphy, Jamal Lascelles, Jamal Lewis.
I mean, I'm sure I've got a photo there. We won it three times in the 50s. We were known as the Kings of Wembley. Like, and back then it was a lot tougher. You know what I mean? The pitches weren't as great. We know how difficult it is just to get to London now. Even with the driving and trains and planes and everything. Imagine back literally in the 50s, like, there was no replica shirts in the same way that they've got them now and stuff. It's completely changed, and I just think he's just done a massive disservice, and that plaque's just there. I think that needs to change. People are talking about changing the name of his stand to the Keegan stand, and I've heard rumours and stuff from various parties. And my son's middle name's Keegan. I adore the bloke, love everything about him. But I just think there's just more iconic people that need to be dealt with in the right way. And as much as Eddie Howe winning it winning a trophy is a wonderful thing. It's far too soon. It's like giving Andy Murray a knighthood. Like, you're still playing. Like, what are you doing?
Well, the one
Like,
thing which I will
don't get
not, which you're not winning an argument with me on is we are definitely having a Bruno statue.
I mean,
there's no argument.
39 bus by Stagecoach should be renamed the Bruno bus. Yeah,
it's a possibility.
How many statues can you have, man? You know what I mean? Like, it's going to end up looking like a Roman fort.
We'll just have
lined up.
We'll
it's
just all of them. We'll put them in. We'll put them in Leeds' Park and just do it like as an 11, a starting 11.
Oh my God!
I honestly would, and this is you are joking, but you do, You're sort of looking at it and you're going, Jackie Milburn's got a statue. He's got a stand named after him as well.
But why? Look at why.
Well, because
the
up
goals,
until Alan Shearer,
he was our record goal scorer for like 60 years,
and until Alan Shearer went. Sorry, Jackie, but it's my name.
I know. It took that length of time, but then you compare it to say Arsenal, who had Ian Wright and Henry within the space of 10, 15 years of each other breaking it.
Yeah,
and it for me just doesn't have the same effect. The fact that it's been going for so long and so many strikers, and that number 9 was iconic. If you think Keegan had been there, Supermac had been in there, and they all couldn't do it, but yet, Shearer did. And
I have noticed though that the Leeds stand has quietly been changed from being named the Sir John Hall stand to back to the Leeds stand. Because there was a point it was the Sir John Hall stand, and then slowly but surely, just quietly, as no announcement, no posted, just it was probably done under the previous regime, probably out of spite. But it's moved back to the Leeds again.
Yeah.
But I actually think the two stands that shouldn't be renamed is the Gallagher and the Leeds, because that's they're both synonymous with Newcastle. The Leeds end, the Gallagher end. So it's just one of those things of that. Gallagher definitely, that should never. That's like. That
the stories I hear from my dad. The stories I hear from my dad is that Gallagher wasn't the main stand. It was the Leazes. The Leazes was the iconic stand. That's where the noise was. That's where it all happened, and it changed over time. But it used to be the Leazes, and that's where he used to go, and he used to, it was crazy times. Your toilet was where you stood, sort of thing, because you couldn't get out.
Mm.
But no, I think one of the guys
which still happens in Sunderland.
Happens in Trafalgar Square when they go down there.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's the one thing which I think I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot on
nobody
Twitter.
Do that,
no,
please.
No. I've seen a lot of that on Twitter. Going, look, please, let's show ourselves as being better.
Yeah.
Don't be a fool. Don't do that, and clear up. If we can, to an extent. I'm sure. People
we
would
need to
accept
take over in a respectful manner, of course.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure
you need
people
to
would
go where you're supposed to go.
Yeah, go to the Portaloo.
I just the thought. Yeah.
Don't stand on the fountain, pretend to be one of the spouts. that ain't going to be pretty for anyone. But no, there is that. What we'll do is we'll go with the final question, and I'm going to say. Everyone knows I've got my train tickets. I'm going down there, and I've said that. Yeah,
regardless.
Yeah, 100%. It's just one of those ones where you just need to be down there because the atmosphere is going to be. Plus, the other reason is Newcastle will be deserted. Yeah,
I think they may still do something with the stadium in terms of people want to go in and watch the game. I've got a feeling that the club will probably do something, but
the breweries, Wylam Brewery, have already announced that they're doing a live.
Was that the Fed
projector? Is it the Fed? I'm sure I saw one for Wylam Brewery. They're doing
I've seen one. I've seen one for the Fed.
Bandwagon.
Do apologise. I've just got. I've looked at the screen and it was at a very unfortunate time because it was showing Steve Bruce. So I had to stop myself from feeling a little bit sick, because it was
You
just.
well, why couldn't we get through the entire, recording without mentioning his name?
Brucey, the inept captain.
You know what I mean?
Funnily enough, he's at that game. I don't think he was able to get a ticket for the one last night.
No.
But that just proves it. He said he was a Geordie.
Yeah,
If he was,
hasn't been to any games.
Yeah. If he was a true Geordie, do you not think he would have done everything he could to have made sure he had a ticket?
Well,
No. Well, Alan got his box, and then that's why he was there with his son. Yeah. I did have a seat, but Idra took it from us. Yeah.
He dusted himself down and went to Manchester.
It's always tough. It's always tough trying to get a ticket.
Yeah.
Well, it is nowadays with us.
It is actually, in fairness, if you don't have a season ticket. But
I passed someone with any spare tickets. Nope. Yeah. Not a chance, mate. Not a chance. So like I said, you know what my views is. Joel, are you heading down?
Yes, I'll be heading down. I'm going on the Saturday and coming back up on the Monday. So I am very, very much looking forward to it.
How are you getting there?
Train. We're going by train.
And have you booked your tickets?
All booked. They've been going on as this podcast has been going on. My mates are currently sorting that out.
Because the last time I checked, there was not one ticket.
Yeah, I think we're going from
on
Carlisle.
the Saturday.
So we're going to.
Oh, you're doing it the cheap way.
Yeah. I mean, it was the only way, I think.
You'll get the northern service over to Carlisle, and then you'll get advantage.
Yeah, it's something like that. But it takes longer because I think it stops on the way as well. So it's not going to be no 3 hour. It's going to be like.
But I do think and this is for anyone who's traveling down on the Saturday, I believe there are engineering works which will make the journey a little bit longer.
Just more time to bring on the canned gins and whatnot, so that's fine.
Well, no, because they might actually do the Saturday and Sunday trains as dry trains.
Maybe.
Yeah.
They want to be like that.
You know it, yeah.
It's one of those ones where it may happen. On the plus side, I'm going down Friday and I'm coming back Monday, so I've done that to try and not necessarily miss the fans, but
a more peaceful journey.
Well, not even that. It was basically just the fact that I could not find a train on the Saturday to get down there. No matter what I tried, I couldn't. I was trying as soon as the full-time whistle went. I'm like, right, train tickets. Let's have a look. Yeah. So I was like, right, we'll go Friday.
Yeah.
So no, I'm doing that. Train tickets booked. Yeah, I haven't even got a ticket yet, but regardless of that,
we can sort of accept that it's going to be season ticket holders. They're going to be involved in some way of getting a ticket. I can't imagine them doing it any other way which doesn't incorporate.
Don't mention loyalty.
So
points.
I remember a long time ago that they did do something where it was dependent on how many games that you went to in that competition, regardless whether you're in season ticket. Now, I saw somebody post something about what Liverpool did last year, and it was, I think, tier 1 was season ticket members sort of thing. And then the next level was based on how many games that you attended to.
I think
there was rumours that people were saying it would go down by away points. I just think that would be really unfair. Yes, it's away. It's a neutral ground.
It's not an away. It's not an away game. That's the fact. It's not an away game.
Neutral ground. Yeah,
it's a neutral ground. See, the one thing which could also bar in that aspect is the tickets technically are sold by Wembley Stadium and the EFL. Yeah, because it's not a one there. I actually think the fairest way to do it would be season ticket holders. If there's more season ticket holders than there is tickets, then I think what should then be brought in is attendance to cup matches.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, there's going to be no perfect.
And thankfully, other than the Tranmere away game, I've been to all the 4 home games. I've been to Palace at home, Bournemouth at home, Leicester at home, and so I'm okay there when it's with that one.
Yeah,
but I do think it is that. Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of disappointed people.
There
really, really is, and I think Adi McCoy was like,
"Not the landlords in London, though."
No, it's. I'm planning to go down, but I'm not going to stay. I'm going to do it in a Warner My wife, who's a Liverpool fan, she wants to come with me, and she's been to one of the games this season as well. She went to one of the. She went the Bournemouth game? Was it Bournemouth in the cup? Yeah, she was at the Bournemouth game.
That was the December one.
Yeah, so she went to that one. But I've been to every single one of the home games, and what I do want to do, and I go back what I said earlier on, is I want to take my dad. I think it's just one of those moments that you just become iconic in your life. You know, going to a cup final with your dad as a Newcastle fan, yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if the Box Park venue near Wembley wouldn't try and put something on.
Yeah, there'll be a fan.
Since the Euros, it's kind of been a thing, isn't it?
I just think it's near the ground. Why wouldn't they try and get people in while the game's on, knowing that it's going to be close to the ground. People will probably want to be close to Wembley if it does happen.
Centre of Life might put something on, but it'll probably just be Emmerdale or EastEnders.
No, that only happens at the what used to be the O2 Arena Academy thing.
Yeah,
but no, didn't it do that at the World Cup? Weren't they all sitting there in the Box Park at the Centre for Life? And I'm sure Adam Pearson posted something.
No, that was
like turn it over. They had the
that wasn't the Times Square one. That was the what was the O2 Arena venue.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, they shouted to get it all changed over. Just madness.
But I'm sure that was the USA game, and I'm probably sure when we got halfway through the second half, they were shouting to get Coronation Street of Emmerdale put back on. I'm not. There was a temptation, but I'm not going to do it because we've got 3 league games to go before we even do predictions. So I'm not even going to do.
You mean Bruno's suspension games?
Yeah.
Rested.
He's been rested. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
We claim it as that.
He's going to be fit for the final. That's what. Do I think he's done that on purpose? How many league games have we got? 3, right? Bang. I'm off and he just didn't want to miss the final. So how can I get out and not being fit for the final? Yeah. I know.
But he's missing the Liverpool game, and I just think we owe them. We really do. You know me. My second team is Liverpool because of the family I'm married to. I watch all their games. I've seen them win everything. But that game really still to this day, there's a big scar, and I really think we owe them one, particularly the way they're playing at the moment. And it's just frustrating that Bruno's the linchpin. It's just not there.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we're still unbeaten.
Yeah. In 90 minutes, we are.
Yeah, we have not lost a game in 90 minutes.
Yeah, we'll claim that one. Yeah,
we'll do that one. But no, we need to learn to try and I think that's what these 3 games will do. I think, thankfully, the West Ham and the Bournemouth game are good games to try and look at getting a style of play where we can play without Bruno. And I think that those 2 games, I think it might have been a different game if we were playing Liverpool this weekend. But I think, given the fact that we're playing West Ham and Bournemouth, it's a great chance to get the team playing in a way that we are without Bruno, and then do what we need to do in terms of getting him fit for that. What we'll do is we'll finish because, quite frankly, I think everyone wants to go off and drink more cans and that and watch the highlights again. Yeah, watch the highlights again.
I've got the score on, kind of like watching it and seeing if anything's happened, but it's at 58 minutes, still 0-0.
I can't see a 3-0 turnaround now, but
Oh, yeah.
I've got a feeling there's something with VAR because he put his hand up and he's speaking. Oh, what's this?
It could be anything. Please say penalty for Nottingham Forest. A red card, maybe? Casemiro?
No, ideal.
Checking for a possible.
It is 7 games anyway.
They are checking for a possible red card.
For who?
I'm looking at that now. Nope, it's not got.
Nothing. No, okay. Talk about
I thi-
consistency, yeah.
Yeah. I know.
To be fair, I don't think it was anywhere near like what it was yesterday. But what we'll do is we'll end it there. We'll be back on Friday for the look ahead to the West Ham game. And then we will probably do a special cup preview.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I don't know where I'll be because depending on where it is, I could be in London, I could be in Essex, I could be in a pub somewhere. It could be anywhere. Could be at Amanda and Merdad's house, Well, you never know. I might meet them on the platform. I'm going down to London. Yeah. I could see them on the platform, like Amanda, Merdad. Where you going, London? Oh, but come back to us, have a drink.
Yes, I've got some cans.
2 seconds. I'll just pop into Marks. We'll get some cans. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, a couple of cans of Madry.
Exactly. Yeah. Bring your own beer. That's going to be the Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we need to take the scarves to Wembley.
Yeah.
I'd like to see whether or not they'd allow war flags to take things in. Because
they hinted that they're planning something.
They
hinted.
Yeah.
But you imagine like what we had at St James Park in that end at Wembley. It would probably be one of the best spectacles in terms of fans at a Wembley.
It's a lot easier. I've been to Wembley twice, the new Wembley that is. I never went to the old one. And it was for the Joshua fight against Klitschko, and I went to see Gateshead. And the amount of space that you've got between when you walk through the door to your seat is unbelievable. When you go to St James's Park, you're a sardine. You don't really have to queue for anything. Like it's surreal. Obviously, the Gateshead game, a bit more obvious, but the Joshua fight, it was just so much room. It was just like, this is crazy. So I think being able to squeeze a giant surfer through the door shouldn't really be a problem. But it's just whether or not the FA or whoever else allows it.
Well, it'd be the EFL because the EFL would be renting Wembley because it's an EFL competition.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, they'd be renting the stadium off.
We'll see. They said they've got something in the pipeline, so we'll see what happens.
I'm sure.
DJ Shaq from the Royal Box.
Yeah, he's played. Can you imagine that on his profile? I played Wembley.
Get Prince William just shredding the decks with him as well.
Oh man, can you imagine it? 90,000 people singing, jumping all around.
So what? Like I said, we've said it again, but people keep on coming back, with the suggestions there. But we'll see you again Friday. Fingers crossed, we can take what we did in the cup into the league and try and push on. Going back from that, he said it is still 0-0 with Manchester United. 62 minutes on the clock.
Yeah,
it's like
it's not looking promising. It looks like we're gonna owe them something for 1999. I think.
Yeah.
It's a different team. That 1999 team was.
We do need them to score though, because when Manchester United have won both legs of their semi-final, they've never won the final. So we do need Manchester United to score the goals. Yeah.
You get
one and only time.
Rabbit's foot out and jumping on the spot and.
Exactly. So this is the end now because I'm tired.
If you've made it this far, then well done. If anyone is still here,
well, I am. So and yous are again. You see, you broke me promise. You kept on talking, which made it go on longer. So we'll finish now. Thank you for watching. Apologies, went on longer, but hey ho, we're giddy, we're happy. We're going to Wembley. See yous.